Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang. Adrian is on assignment. Tonight, an everyday kitchen staple with links to human rights concerns. CBC News Marketplace investigates.
How prevalent is forced labor in China's tomato trade?
There are probably 2 or 3 tins of chopped tomatoes sitting in your kitchen cupboard at this exact moment. You bought them without thinking. Why would you think about it? It is tomatoes in a tin, the most basic, most boring product in the entire weekly shop. Except it is not boring at all. Because when you actually investigate what is inside those tins, who made them, where the tomatoes came from, and what else has been added before the lid was sealed, what you find is genuinely alarming. Under UK food regulations, a tin of chopped tomatoes only needs to contain 60% actual tomato. That means up to 40% of that tin, nearly half of it, can legally be tomato juice, water, and additives. And most of the biggest brands in Britain sit right at that legal floor. Then there is the citric acid listed on almost every tin you have ever picked up. It sounds like it comes from lemons. It does not. The citric acid used in commercial food production is manufactured by fermenting a black mold called Aspergillus niger on sugar substrates. That is what is adjusting the acidity of the product your family eats every week. It is there because it is standardized as a cheap, watery product and disguises what would otherwise taste thin and lifeless. On top of that, the tin itself has a plastic inner lining designed to prevent the acidic tomatoes from corroding the metal. That lining has historically contained bisphenol A, or BPA, a chemical linked to hormone disruption that has been shown to leach into food. Tomatoes are highly acidic, which accelerates that process. The European Union banned BPA in food contact materials in December 2024. The United Kingdom has not followed. And then there is the supply chain. A BBC Panorama investigation published in December 2024 tested 64 tomato products across the UK, Germany, and the United States. A significant number of products marketed as Italian were allegedly found to contain tomatoes originating from Xinjiang, China, a region where international organizations have documented systematic use of forced labor. 17 UK supermarket products were named in that investigation. Products you have almost certainly bought. So here are 9 tinned tomato products you absolutely need to know about, followed by the brands that are actually doing things properly. If this has already shocked you, think about the people around you who have no idea they are buying these tins every week. Hit that like button right now. Every like, every share, pushes this in front of someone who deserves to know what is in their food. Now, let us get into it. Number 9. Tesco own brand chopped tomatoes. Millions of these tins are sold every week across the UK. What most customers never realize is that Tesco's own brand chopped tomatoes are reportedly produced by Ladoria, an Italian manufacturer that describes itself as the #1 producer of private label tomato products for the English market. Ladoria simultaneously produces own brand tins for multiple major UK supermarkets. You are not buying Tesco's tomatoes. You are buying an industrial commodity with a Tesco label on it. The standard own brand tin also has a plastic inner lining, which means the BPA question applies directly. Tesco does not flag this on the packaging. Additionally, Tesco's own brand, Italian tomato puree, was named in the BBC Panorama investigation as allegedly containing tomatoes linked to Xinjiang. To their credit, Tesco was the only major supermarket to suspend supply from the manufacturer in question. But that action only came after the investigation forced their hand. Number 8. Morrison's own brand, chopped tomatoes. Morrison's markets itself as the supermarket closest to real food. Their chopped tomatoes are reportedly made by the same Ladoria factory, producing Tesco's tins. Same manufacturer, same production line, different label. Morrison's tomato puree was also named in the BBC investigation as allegedly containing Chinese tomatoes. Unlike Tesco, Morrison said they ran internal tests, found no evidence, and kept the product on shelves without suspending supply. Beyond the China connection, Italian tomato farms supplying major producers have been extensively documented exploiting African migrant workers through illegal gangmaster systems. The Ethical Trading Initiative found wages running roughly 40% below legal minimums in some areas. The price pressure that makes a tin of tomatoes 47 pelom on a British shelf does not come from nowhere. It is absorbed by the most vulnerable people in the supply chain. Number 7. Napolina chopped tomatoes. The name conjures images of Naples and Italian heritage. The packaging leans into that hard, referencing passion and tradition. The company is owned by Princess Group, headquartered in Liverpool. The products are prepared and packed for a Dutch company called Napolina Foods BV, based in Rotterdam. The Naples connection is branding, not geography. At least one consumer who compared Napolina plum tomatoes side by side with KTC tins, which cost roughly half the price, reported that the ingredient lists were identical. When that consumer contacted Napolina to ask about it, they reportedly declined to comment. Multiple consumer complaints have also flagged excessive stalks and skins inside Napolina tins. You are paying a premium, largely for a story that does not hold up under scrutiny. Number 6. KTC chopped tomatoes. KTC is a Birmingham-based brand historically serving South Asian communities and increasingly stocked in major supermarkets. Many households treat it as the insider budget pick. But as noted, a side-by-side comparison found the ingredient lists of KTC and Napolina plum tomatoes to be apparently identical, potentially originating from the same facility. If you have been spending nearly £1 on Napolina believing it is meaningfully superior, what you have been paying for is a label. KTC sits at the standard 60% tomato with citric acid. There is no particular transparency on where the tomatoes were grown or what labor conditions existed at the source. Households buying it in bulk often find their sauces taste flat and acidic regardless of what they add. That is not a cooking problem, that is a product problem. Number 5. Asda own brand chopped tomatoes. Another, reportedly Lodoria private label product. Blind taste tests have specifically flagged a metallic aftertaste in this product, with reviewers describing sparse, watery tomato pieces. The hidden cost of a thin acidic tin is everything you spend trying to fix it. Tomato paste, sugar, extra simmering time, additional herbs. The cheap tin stops being cheap once you calculate the rescue effort. Asda's own brand, organic tomato puree, was also named in the BBC investigation as allegedly containing Chinese tomatoes. Asda investigated, found no evidence, and the product remained on shelves. Number 4. Asda Just Essentials chopped tomatoes. This matters most because of who it targets. The Just Essentials range is aimed specifically at families on the tightest budgets. The product contains exactly 60% tomato, the legal minimum. The product, positioned as a helping hand for struggling households, contains the least possible amount of actual tomato that UK law permits. One genuinely positive detail is that Just Essentials tins reportedly do not use a plastic inner lining, meaning no BPA risk. The cheapest tin on the shelf may actually be safer in that respect than the mid-range alternatives. But 60% tomato, citric acid, and zero transparency about sourcing is what the most price-sensitive families in Britain are being offered. Number 3. Sainsbury's own brand chopped tomatoes. Sainsbury's positions itself a step above average. Their chopped tomatoes contain 65% tomato with citric acid. Reportedly another Lodoria private label product. That additional 5% over the budget floor is hardly the meaningful upgrade the brand positioning implies. Consumer comparisons have noted noticeably variable salt levels across Sainsbury's tomato range, which undermines the entire point of cooking from scratch to control your ingredients. Earlier investigative journalism identified Conserve Italia, producer of the Cheerio brand, as a Sainsbury's supplier. A 2011 supply chain assessment found that some of Surio's tomato suppliers used migrant labor. What has changed since then is something Sainsbury's has not publicly addressed. Number 2. Waitrose Essential Chopped Tomatoes. This is arguably the most striking entry on the entire list. Waitrose sells itself harder on ethics, quality, and responsibility than any other UK supermarket. Their essential chopped tomatoes cost more than the equivalent Aldi or Lidl tin. They are reportedly made by Lodoria, the same manufacturer producing tins for Tesco, Morrisons, Sainsbury's, and Asda. The premium is for the logo, not a different product. In the BBC investigation, Waitrose Essential Tomato Puree was identified as allegedly containing Chinese tomatoes linked to Xinjiang. Waitrose ran their own tests, said they found no evidence, and kept the product on shelves. No suspension, no withdrawal. The retailer that markets itself most aggressively on doing the right thing had the most passive response of any supermarket to a forced labor allegation involving their own product line. Number 1, Lidl simply chopped tomatoes. Lidl is number 1 because, unlike every other entry, Lidl actually admitted it. In December 2024, Lidl's German operations acknowledged that their products had contained tomatoes linked to Xinjiang forced labor, supplied through a company connected to Kofco Tunhe, which was sanctioned by the United States government specifically for its alleged role in forced labor. Lidl said it happened due to supply problems and for a short time only. That admission concerned German products, but Lidl operates the same supply chains across Europe. The full extent of contamination into UK tins has not been clarified. Lidl is the only supermarket on this list to have openly confirmed that forced labor tomatoes entered their products, and they are still selling tinned tomatoes in UK stores today. That is why they are number 1. Now the brand's doing it right. Muttipulpa finely chopped tomatoes are the gold standard. A genuine Italian family company based in Monte Caragolo. Their products passed the BBC's lab testing for Chinese tomatoes. Their UK managing director publicly called for bans on Chinese tomato imports. Mutti uses GPS tracking to trace tomatoes to the specific field they were grown in. No BPA in the lining, no citric acid, no added salt. The flavor difference is immediately obvious. Thicker body, deeper taste, nothing to rescue. Mutti San Marzano DOP tomatoes are the premium tier, grown in volcanic soil near Mount Vesuvius, legally protected by designation of origin. More flesh, less liquid, naturally lower acidity. Bayona Organic is the cleanest possible ingredient list, certified organic chopped tomatoes with organic tomato juice and nothing else. No citric acid, no additives, no synthetic pesticides. Mr. Organic offers a BPA-free tin lining, certified organic ingredients, no added sugar or salt, and M&S chopped Italian tomatoes have been rated the best all-rounder in independent blind taste tests against products at every price point. M&S tomato products have not appeared in any forced labor investigations. That is the full picture. 9 products to be wary of, 5 that are doing things properly. Every time you choose differently, you are sending a signal. Your trolley is a vote you cast every single week. If this was useful, hit that like button, drop a comment telling me what food to investigate next. Subscribe so you never miss a breakdown. Stay informed, stay sharp, and protect your plate.